so one of the best mouse shapes is back, the MM712. Now I've been using this mouse over the past month. I played with it on stream a couple times as the NDA mouse. Sorry for those of you guys who thought it was the Razer Viper Mini Wireless. That mouse is still coming. I know, it's confirmed, it's coming. Can't tell you when, but it is. Alright, but I think this is another shape that we needed to come back because it's so good. The thing that stood out to me most about the MM712 was the build quality. When compared to the previous model, the wired version, the MM711, the build quality was just all over the place. It wasn't that great. There's issues with wobbly buttons, things shaking where they shouldn't in the mouse. It was just an all-out mess. And I think that's what makes this release even more exciting, is that they got the build quality down this time. And I think they've really been working on the build quality because this mouse was supposed to come out in early 2022 and it's only just now coming out as of this week. The coating feels great, has a nice texture to it, but slightly on the rougher side. Definitely will keep your hands and mouse from slipping. And if that's not good enough for you, in the box they've also included some grips for the mouse. It's nice that they've done this because now you don't have to go and buy third-party ones, but the ones that they put in the box are actually slippery themselves. They strayed away from having that rougher texture. So in that case, I'd still go and buy some third-party ones. Paracord is also nice for charging. Actually used it this way a couple of times and had no problems with it. Very nice loose weave on it. So let's turn this mouse over and see what we're working with. Now it has one PTFE foot at the front, two at the back, and one dinky one around the center. In the past we got on them for not being thick enough, and these I believe are thick enough and they glide very nicely. They've also kept the mouse feet the same so you can use third-party MM711 feet. Pretty cool because now we don't have to wait for MM712 feet to come out. We've already got some on the market. On the bottom we've got some standard stuff going on. We've got the pairing button. If you want to go Bluetooth, it does have a slider for the 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle, as well as having a door for the wireless dongle for storage. Also on the bottom you'll find a DPI button. One thing to note with the slider is that it has to be on the USB mode. You can't charge it and use it while the slider is on wireless. Don't think the mouse is broken because that's what I thought. You just have to slide it over. They've also managed to keep the weight of the mouse roughly the same, coming in at 56 grams. It's crazy that they've managed to do this while making it wireless and without having holes, and they managed to somehow keep the RGB on the mouse. And I gotta say, they did a very nice job here. Now another thing you might notice while looking at the bottom of this mouse is that the sensor is placed high as hell on the mouse now. They've actually changed it from the original. This is personal preference. I know some people like it high up on the mouse, some people like it in the middle, some people like it closer to the back. It's all personal preference. I will say though that when people swipe their mouse sideways, it actually goes in an arc rather than straight. A low sensor position makes a smaller arc, thus it travels less and feels less sensitive. A higher sensor position creates a bigger arc. This makes it feel like you're doing a bigger swipe than you actually are. So just to sum it up, it's gonna feel faster on this mouse since the sensor is higher, so you might want to lower your sensitivity. The MM712 is using their optical switches, similar to what Razer's doing. You'll get the no debouncing on there, but in comparison, I'd say these feel closer to the second generation of the Razer optical switches. Not super clicky, not up there with the newer fan favorites like the Lamzu or the Razer Gen 3 switches. Buttons aren't wobbly at all like on the original MM711. Barely any pre-travel, good amount of post-travel here. But for me, I'm a little pickier. I like them a little bit crispier. The scroll wheel is probably the worst part of the buttons on this mouse. It feels like an afterthought, like they just threw a piece of rubber in the middle of the mouse and called it a day. The steps aren't defined and it feels like you kind of slip past some stops. Not the greatest. We'll love to see this get revamped in a newer model. As for the side buttons, they do have a little bit of pre-travel, but that's not the magic of these side buttons. What they've done is they've kept that same pyramid design, which actually helps with you picking up the mouse by giving you an added ledge. And I think that's a sleeper feature of this mouse. Really looks like they're trying to make up for that MM731 debacle. But that's neither here nor there. Let's drop a sound test of the MM712. So the bread and butter of this mouse is the shape. And I didn't realize just how much I missed this shape. Really missing these bulbous back claw grip mice. Size wise, this is a smaller stout mouse, even shorter than the X2 Mini, and it's about 1 millimeter bigger than the Starlight for comparison. Everybody's going for that diamond shape route, and it's very comfortable. I'm not gonna lie to you, but the way the MM712 shoots your fingers out, and then the tips of your fingertips are on the mouse instead of the flat part of your thumb and pinky, activates a whole new level of control. I'll just say this, your claw grip will snap into awesome mode with this mouse. And again, this just keeps this right here, this part, this just keeps the mouse so steady when comparing it to other notable claw grip mice like the X2 or the Lamzu, both of which kind of have that diamond shape. This bulbous back really stands out. Don't get me wrong, in terms of palm comfort, those are better, but in terms of control, I feel like the MM712 is better for control. The hump is more rounded and bulbous and points directly into the middle of your hand. It's so comfortable. And we've been missing these kind of shapes like the S2 or the ZA13 with the humps more towards the back. I would recommend this for palm grip because it shoots your fingers over. You can't get that nice tight palm grip with this. You can, however, do a relaxed claw or a relaxed palm. Since this is a smaller stout mouse, you can do fingertip grip with it, although the bulbous hips kind of get in the way slightly. It's not the most comfortable for it. So the mouse has a 3370. I think this is because the mouse was supposed to come out earlier in 2022. That's when the 3370s were coming out, so it's a little bit late. You know, it doesn't have the motion stink and things like that, doesn't have the most current sensor, but it performs good. You know, I've been harping on companies for not increasing the battery life, and here we're seeing 80 hours, which is a step up from the normal 70 that we've been seeing, so kudos to Coolermaster for doing that. In the software, you'll be able to change the liftoff distance to 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters. This is designated as low and high. Another interesting feature is that they have an OS double click speed. The lower the number, the more sensitive to double click, and the higher the number, the less sensitive it will be. This could be advantageous in games that require a lot of double clicking. For me, I'm not really going to use that feature. Also in the software, you'll be able to turn the left and right mouse button response time down to 1 millisecond. This is just debouncing in disguise, and I haven't seen a cause for concern after lowering it. I didn't really see any double clicking or anything that you guys should be worried about. Okay, so even with the mouse sensor, the way it is, and then the placement it is, I was still pounding from the day that I got this mouse, and you guys were there to see it on the Twitch stream. Also guys, let me know, would you guys rather me stream on YouTube or Twitch? I'm actually thinking about making the switch over to YouTube just so you guys can find me a little better. Let me know down in the comments. Other than that, the buttons were good enough. Love the ledge on the side. The sensor was good. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is this. No side button actuation when you press in on the sides. This thing has got some seriously good build quality. Alright, so it's that time again. We're going to do the rating system where I rate the mouse from 1 to 10 to let you guys know what I think about this mouse and how it stacks up to others. So for the MM712, I'm going to give it an 8.7. It's got the shape going for it. It's got the optical switches with no debouncing. They could be a little bit crispier, but not a deal breaker at all. It's got good weight. The shape is amazing, and the price is right at $70. This makes it almost a steal. Isn't it crazy that $70 is like budget now? So what a time to be alive. $70, cool. But anyways guys, that's gonna do it for my time. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It has been your boy BT. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.